What's going on, YouTubers, gamers and hobbyists? It's time for an episode of P&Q, and this is the series, the question and answer series, where you get to ask me questions or leave comments and I respond. You can do this one of two ways. You can either leave your comments or questions in the comments section below, or you can email me at miniwarzone@gmail.com, and I'll leave a link in the description below. So last week was fairly quiet. We didn't have that much on the go, didn't have any emails. Got 3 emails this week and about 6 questions, I think. Looking on here. Obviously I've read through them. I can just... Yep, okay. Got my cup of tea, so we're all good to go. Recording this on the Sunday today. Yeah, it's all a bit hit and miss at the moment because it's just the way it is. Very hectic, especially with Christmas now. Get the decorations down and you know, got all that going on up in the loft. Taking a while. So anyway, we'll start with... Yeah, we'll start with emails first, just because it's easier. That's the way I've printed them out. Hope you've had a good week last week. I hope you have a good week ahead of you following week. So, first email then says, "Hi Pete, sorry I missed last week's episode. I was away on leave. Still, I have managed to catch up with everyone now, in brackets just about. Aha, here we go. Surprised to see that Leland has left Mini Wargaming. He wasn't there long. I expect that you are aware that they are now hiring a content producer. Maybe you should apply since you're such a fan. LOL." And then smiley face. Yes, I am aware of it. Am I surprised? Yeah, I was a bit surprised. I thought he was going to be there for more of the long haul. Yeah. Steve is definitely there for the long haul, and Chris obviously is. I think Quirk will be there a while. You know, he seems to fit in quite well. But Leland, though, yes, yeah, I'm surprised that he left too. From what I was aware, it's something to do with he's had a like once in a lifetime opportunity. So when those come along, you got to grab them, haven't you? Yes, I'm aware that they're now hiring a content producer, and the cool thing about this is it can be remotely done, so you don't have to be local to their vicinity in order to apply. And yes, I have applied. I've already applied. There you go. Hey, you gotta be in it to win it, right? So yes, I have applied for that. I haven't heard anything back, but early days yet. We'll see. Okay. Watch this space, I guess. Next question. "Hi Pete, was wondering if you celebrate Christmas, and if so, do you have any plans for it this year? Will you do anything special for it with your channel?" Yes, well I just mentioned about getting the decorations done, so yes, obviously we celebrate Christmas. Do I have any plans for this year? No more different than usual, I suppose. You know, just we like quiet Christmases here. We're not like ones like partying 24/7. We do have our meal. We like meals out, and we're going for a couple of those. We've got the Mini Warzone Christmas meal, which we have every year now. We started that last year, which was quite nice, and we're doing it this year as well, where we just go have our meal, our family. And you know, we discuss things that we can do on the channel, and because you know, there's things that people do, my wife and daughter, behind the scenes and so on. So yeah, so they come up with good ideas, and there's no better time to mull over an idea when you're having a meal, and you know, this relaxed atmosphere. My mother-in-law is going to be there this year as well, so you know, the more the merrier, I say. Anything special for it with the channel? I don't know. Well, we did mention back along about Mrs. Mini Warzone doing a P&Q with me. Whether you guys still want that or not, I don't know. If not, we can do. I'm sure we can come up with something for Christmas. You know, do that. You know, wear the hat and all that kind of stuff that people do. Moving on, Pete. This is the last email. Pete, I have been enjoying your studio updates. In brackets, very exciting, and was wondering what the state of play was with it at the moment. Thank you for asking. At the moment, it's being painted by myself. I've just finished 2 coats of wide emulsion on the ceiling, so the ceiling is spot on now. It's finished. That's ready for the other light, the extra light fixture to go in. All that's left is to have the walls done, and I'm planning on doing a couple of coats of, it's called sky blue, nice sky blue, and that's going to be all around. So that's going to hopefully look good, nice and bright. Sometime next week that'll be done. Then I've got to contact some people, like an electrician, carpenter, to do the flooring and the electrics. Never ending. And then when that's done, it's got to be thoroughly cleaned up and carpeted, and then I can move my stuff in. All this stuff that you see around you here, that, over there. So I've got a new, well, not brand new, but I've got a monitor now. All right, which I've just got. Which I'm looking at the monitor now, and it's to my right. It's about that big. It's an old TV screen, which I connect up to my camcorder, which I can through the HDMI socket, and I'm going to be using it for tutorials and things. You know, so I can stay on camera better, because there's nothing worse than when you're trying to. You got that little flip screen on your camcorder and you can't quite see what you're doing, and yeah, very irritating. Anyway, hopefully a bit of practice, I'll be there now. Right, moving on with the comments that you left last week. Starting with General Splatton. Says, good answers, buddy. I'm itching to get some chipping fluid and liquid mask. How many thousands of pounds have you spent on the hobby? LOL, lots of dollars for me. Now, I did, when I first saw this question, I did kind of do a very, very rough kind of guesstimate. I've been thinking back, and I think it would be fair to say I've spent about £16,000 on this hobby. That's a rough estimate. Roughly. Just to get me all set up, all the gear. I mean, there's a whole bag load of stuff. I mean, not mean a bag, I mean a ton load of stuff that you haven't seen. I suppose that's how much I've spent on the hobby thus far, roughly. You know, with the studio being built as well, I'd say about £16,000. No, it's true I haven't been in the hobby that long, but hopefully I'm in it for the long run, for the long haul. Yeah, so, you know, I mean, I don't know what else to say really, you know. Money well spent, I say. If I had another £16,000 to spend on the hobby, would I? Yeah, of course I would. Right, okay, moving on. Let's move on quickly. So let's allow a discreet veil to be drawn over that one. Hooves of Doom, merely comments. Good responses, Pete. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching. So we're on to Big Mech Dan Skull. Here we go. He says, from the Horus Heresy books you've read so far, which would you most like to direct as a movie? And would you have any actors in mind for specific roles? Ooh, great question. Well, I'm on the 7th book now, so I got out ready. Look, Battle for the Abyss. It's there, ready to. Well, I've read the first chapter started reading it last night, so on that one. But I've picked out the book I would so far most like to direct. Would be Descent of Angels. It was a toss-up between that Flight of the Eisenstein and what's that other one? Galaxy in Flames. But I've chosen this one. Any actors for specific roles? Well, let's flip to the character. Dramatis personae. Because obviously you've got Lionel Johnson, the Primarch. As the Primarch, so obviously you'd use some sort of CGI camera trickery to make the Primarch look bigger, and the Space Marines come to that. But I'm thinking for him, I would say someone like Sylvester Stallone. But he'd have to be obviously made taller. You know, it's Stallone in his prime. Because he made a good Judge Dredd, I thought. So Lionel Johnson, that would be my choice for actor. Luthor. Maybe him again, I don't know, either one of the two. Maybe Luthor could, well... this is tricky. Right, let's go on to Zaharia, which is kind of the main character. For him, I would have a young Orlando Bloom playing the younger version of him, and I'd have Hugh Jackman playing the older one once he's become a Space Marine. Is Raphael the Chief Librarian? I'd have someone like Arnold Schwarzenegger back in the day. You know, the shaved head though. I think he'd make a good one because he's got a very sort of stilted speech about him anyway. Well, that's how I picture him. You know, that's how I picture him. That's tricky. There's loads of ones in here. Yeah, but yeah, that'd be the movie I would direct. I'd have to give some serious more thought to the actors though, but that's a great question. I mean, you know, you can have any actor, anyone in mind at all. Definitely have Ewan McGregor in it, doing one of the roles. One of the other knights, possibly. Sean Connery. He could be Luthor. Yeah, Sean Connery would be Luthor. Yeah, because he'd be too old to be turned into a Space Marine, and so he's a bit older, but he's still a good warrior, and you know, been enhanced and stuff. But yeah, I think that would make a good one. That is great though. Wow. And then I have another question. Idic Beer says, "Great stuff, Pete. What film would you like to have directed from the past?" I think it's a given. I would love to have directed Star Wars. I mean, Star Wars. I'm as passionate about Star Wars as you are about Star Trek, I reckon. And I'm going to tell you something, and this is not an exaggeration. Okay, many years ago. One Christmas, I got a game bought for me, Star Wars Trivial Pursuit. Alright, so we set it all up, I've had some friends around, they came around and we thought, yeah, cause we're all, you know, a bit of Star Wars buffs, so we were quite excited to play this game, and set it all up. We all rolled a dice to see who went first. I won. I went first. I went round the board, cleared up, got every question right, and then to the middle and won on my first go. I won the game on my first go. Nobody would ever play, and nobody has ever played me again since that time. You know, my knowledge of Star Wars is very, very good. I'm not saying, you know, I'm not trying to blow my own trumpet. Well, I am a bit, I suppose. But you know, I had some. It was good luck of the dice as well, getting on the tiles, not messing around too much. But it was really, it was getting a bit boring actually. You know, how I was on that colour now. Oh, that's that question. Oh, he's got it right. Blah blah blah. Just, you know, I might as well just stayed in the middle and just that's the last question. You know, you pick one for me. But it was really, I love it, you know, but nobody will play me. Lord of the Rings Trivial Pursuit was better because I'm not as up on that as I am Star Wars. You know, I mean, I love Lord of the Rings, but I'm nowhere near as knowledgeable about that. So yeah, I think Star Wars, possibly Empire Strikes Back. See, Empire Strikes Back is my favourite film of all time. From the Star Wars universe. Definitely, I mean, I think my favourites are the originals, Empire, New Hope, and Return of the Jedi, in that order. But any Star Wars film I would like to have directed. Can I think of any others? Trying to think. I like films where the camera shots are a little bit different. So I don't know, maybe one of the Aliens movies, or The Thing, like the original. Yeah. Thank you for your questions anyway about directing. I'll be there all year if I talk about that. So, right, better move on. Right, Kablams says, great stuff. Do you prefer the Dan Brown novels or films? In brackets, no, I didn't use your video backdrop as inspiration. I always prefer the novels. As much as I love films, I think you only really have the director's vision of the movie, of the story. If you're telling a story, I think you only have their vision of it, depending on how much leeway they've got. Yeah, so whenever there's a story that has a film tie-in, I always prefer the book because I prefer my version, which is in my head. My imagination creates the best version of that story for me. So yeah, I prefer the novels. Thank you for your questions. And the last question is by Miscreant Beard Gamers. Oh, excuse me, my throat's really dry. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the cold wind outside. Or what. Anyway, he says, "Hi Pete. Hi Miscreant Beard Games. You've got some great content on here. Thank you very much. Right, now I'm hearing a lot of people in the 40k community talking about bringing the hobby back, where they are moving away from beardy armies, Death Star units, and more towards models that are cool. How do you think this is going to affect the community as a whole?" Then there's a bonus question, but we'll deal with this bit first. Right. Okay, I'm hearing a lot of people in the 40k community talking about bringing the hobby back, where they are moving away from beardy armies, Death Star units, and more towards models they think are cool. How do you think it's going to affect the community as a whole? I think it's going to be brilliant for the community because I think it will open up the community as more and more people will think, oh, okay, he's doing so and so's doing an army of such and such with units of so and so. That's crazy, you know. But he likes it. He's having fun. I'm gonna have some fun. You know, more and more people are going to be. I think more people are tending to veer away from those beardy armies, as you call them, Death Star units. I think people are going for a lot of models that are cool. I mean, there's a lot of models out there, especially in 40k, where the models are brilliant. They're absolutely amazing. But on paper, they're pants, you know. I don't think Yeah. I love the Toxicrene, for instance, but it's rubbish on paper. I love the model. I love it, you know, and I don't care. I build my armies primarily. Well, in any game, not just 40k, I primarily build my armies as to what I think looks cool. Below what is actually cool. I started to veer towards more competitive play in hordes, but then I lately I've kind of think, nah, I just want to get what looks good. These models look better. I want to get these models because I want to paint these models and then have fun playing them. I don't care if they win or lose. They win, it's a bonus, you know. I think more people are coming around to that way of thinking. That said, I don't think it's going to affect the tournament players much at all. Because they're kind of a separate entity, really, in the hobby. Especially when you've got your local gaming group, and you all know each other's armies. You know what you've got. There's a group of maybe 4 or 5 or 6 of you, and you've each got 1, maybe 2 armies each, and you kind of know your local meta, what you're going to be facing, what they've got. So you don't try and screw people over with army list building and super competitive stuff. You kind of, I think, tailor it more for fun. You know, I would rather tailor a list against an army that I think would the game would last longer. So I would try and keep it as even as I could. And that's the way I think. I just want the game to go on for longer. That said, if I'm you know, let's put him down. But if I really want to play an army of these guys, like 4 or 5 of these dudes, just as a one-off, I'd say that I'll just have a game of these. I've always wanted to play Imperial Knights as an army. You know, just for one. I think nobody would mind. I think more and more people these days are becoming more okay with stuff like that, you know, becoming more adaptable, more flexible, I think is the word, when it comes to that. Yeah, I think the community is changing because I'm not sure on the figures that like Games Workshop are pulling in with regards to new players, but obviously the older players started off young. I'm generalising now, I know, but they started off young and now they've kind of gotten older. A lot of people my age and older. They're kind of getting more flexible towards it, I think. Bonus question, here we go. Scratched a bit about specialist games. If you could redo the next 40k Codex, which one would you do and why? That's obviously going to be Adeptus Sororitas, Sisters of Battle, no question at all. I'm hoping and praying that GW will bring out that as a codex, hopefully next year. Because I think they've got so much potential. I mean, they're so outdated now. You can't play them in the game. You can only really collect them and paint them. I've got a few models which I collect and paint, but they are so outdated now. You can't play them seriously in a game of 40k. You just get slaughtered. It's harder to tailor lists towards armies like that because they've been neglected for so long. I think they could seriously do with some upgraded models. It'd be nice to see them in plastics. Imagine the conversion stuff you could do with that. That'd be just amazing. I think it'd be awesome. Sisters of Battle, Adeptus Sororitas, no question at all. And that is all the questions I've got this week. thank you very much for putting your questions down. I really do appreciate it, because it gives me content that I can put in for the following show, and that way I don't have to go on so much, drag out the questions more. I've always said this: if I didn't get any questions, I would just, well, I did say that I would just pick a topic and go with it, and just talk about that. But I'm not sure people want to hear that, so you know, I don't know. It's nice that P&Q seems to get, you know, a nice lot of questions in, and I'm happy for that, and I'm glad that you're all on board with it, and you know, it's evolved, hasn't it? And it's certainly come on a long way from the early days where I had like one question or maybe two, and that was super cool. All I can do is thank you so much for your questions. I like it, because especially those ones about thinking of actors, you know, the ones that make me thinking, and I got all week to try and mull the question over, thinking, do you know, I really don't know, and I don't think I'll ever have a list of actors in my head, you know, a final list. Difficult. But I do love these Q&As, so please keep your questions coming in. As you may know, now if you want an anonymous response where I don't reveal your identity, just do it by email, because I never reveal the identity of the people who email me. So it's up to you, whatever way you want to do it. Questions down below, or email miniwarzone@gmail.com. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now, guys. All brushes lead to war.